Right.
Good evening, Epiphany Lutheran Church and friends.
Good evening, St. John Lutheran Church family and friends, and welcome to our post St. Patrick Day. And well, I don't know what you're doing.
Well, actually, I took my theme a little bit from you.
Oh,
so,
which theme?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Well, because I looked up
Soon
things
enough.
about.
Okay. You
So you
looked up
can't
you
steal.
looked up about wicks. I looked up about strange funeral rituals.
Oh yeah. So anyway,
So-
I know that may sound a little strange, but we're gonna hopefully honor my Aunt Carolyn tonight. She died on St. Patrick's Day just yesterday. Actually, that was a blessing. She had been ready to go, had been on hospice for a week, and she died in her sleep. And she was 88 years old, and she lived a wonderful life. She was the seventh, I think she was the seventh of 8 girls. My mom was the third, and now 7 of the 8 are gone from this earth, and my Aunt Rita, the baby, is the last one left. And anyway, we're going to talk about some more about St. Patrick. I have St. Patrick's Day blessings to share, and I also thought I would look up Irish wakes and share some interesting trivia. I know people don't talk about, but you know, to me, it's interesting things. And since we've been kind of celebrating all things Ireland, it's the first time I think I've worn the same hat in 2 weeks. But David,
And in case you're wondering, why is Pastor David wearing a Christmas sweater? It's because this is my way to be able to wear green, because my green sweaters are Yoda Christmas sweaters. So
now I know when I'm not going to ask him anymore. What clothes do you need? He needs a long sleeve green shirt.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, it's cute, but it makes no sense.
Just remember
to most
this: if
people.
your wife says you do,
People
you
think
do.
you're weird.
So.
No, I'm kidding. I don't think you're weird.
No, you just don't think I have green.
So anyway, but yeah, so my Aunt Carolyn, you gotta eat our little heart pillow. So little man is down with us tonight, our dog. Come on, little man, come sit up here. Come on. So my Aunt Carolyn she is Armstrong. That was my mother's maiden name. That's the name I have taken, and David has taken, and our boys, to honor my mother's family, to keep the heritage, that part of the family genealogy going on for imparted to the next generation. And so Aunt Carolyn married my Uncle Jim O'Brien, and so their kids they're all 100% Irish. I think it's my great grandparents that came over from Ireland, and all of the family was from County Cork, which I found out. I shared, I think, a few weeks ago that I'd had lunch with Pastor Tom Kenny on Valentine's Day to get to visit with him. He had lost his wife Barbara suddenly last summer, and I thought maybe it might be a good day to get him out of the house. And we had a great lunch, and I've been friends with Tom a long time. I've been in spiritual direction groups with Tom. We know each other pretty well, and we've served retreats together. And I either never asked him where he was from in Ireland, or I've forgotten, but when I asked him, because I told him we want to go to Ireland next year, he said, I'm from County Cork, which is the exact county my mom and all of her sisters were from. But Aunt Carolyn was a wonderful wife, mother, grandmother, friend, aunt, godmother. She worked with Uncle Jim to get her 2 boys, Larry and Ken, through Scouts, and they both became Eagles. And Uncle Jim was, I think, 50 plus years serving in Scouts. He died, it'll be, did we say it's 3 years since my mom? Yeah, 3 years. 3 years my Uncle Jim will have died in April. They traveled a lot in retirement. She worked a different job, worked in cafeterias, but she was known as Cookie Carol. But she loved to bake cookies, and she always shared family recipes with me, and I'm very grateful for that. I have several family recipes from her and pictures that she shared with me over the years of my mom growing up, because we lost a lot of them in the flood of '93. And she was just a wonderful aunt, and I loved her dearly, and I'm very grateful I got to talk to her last week before things really quieted down for her, and we had a wonderful conversation, and we had stayed in touch and visited, and regret is that we didn't get to see her at Christmas, but the weather was bad and we had been dealing with some sickness and I didn't want to bring that to her. But I still have got to talk to her over the times and Zoom with her, visit with her, and we saw her last summer. So I'm just very, very grateful that she was my aunt. So tomorrow I'm flying out very early out of Hartsfield, going back to the Midwest. My brother Tim's picking me up. We are headed up to Illinois, staying with friends tomorrow night, and headed to the wake on Sunday and her funeral on Monday. And then I will head back home on Tuesday, be back Tuesday afternoon. So I appreciate prayers for safe travel. For all my, we have cousins coming from all over, from BC, my brother and another cousin in Kansas City. Family, I know they have family from Iowa coming, from the O'Brien side. So there's a lot of us gonna come together to remember her and celebrate her, and that's why I looked up Irish wakes. So if you're older, you might know something about a wake. You know, there's usually a visitation and a funeral, and now because a lot of people are cremated, which I believe my aunt is, a lot of times families don't even have a visitation anymore, or if they do, they have it for an hour before. But my aunt's having a good, I will say, I don't know if it's an Irish wake, but she's having a wake on Sunday. So we will get to have lots of time with cousins and stuff. But I was reading about it, and it said an Irish wake is a celebration of life, one last party to honor the deceased. The name wake originated because unknown diseases had plagued the countryside, causing some to appear dead. As the family began to mourn, they would awaken. For this reason, the body is waked in the deceased home for at least one night. So I thought that was really interesting. It says, an Irish wake involves allowing family and friends to pay their last respects to the deceased with an open casket, rituals, prayers, music, poetry, food, and drink. And that the term wake was originally used to denote a prayer vigil, often an annual event held on the feast day of the saint to whom a parish church was dedicated. So people would sign up and come at different times to pray. I remember that growing up, we would have those. I think we had those at Resurrection when we were in Illinois too. We had some where people would come in and pray, maybe during Holy Week. We'd have a night and people would take different hours to come and to pray for different things. But anyway, it says now, in actual fact, the Irish wake in the modern world occurs after the burial. In this celebration, people gather to share the stories of their lost loved ones and have food and drinks. The Irish wake no longer lasts for days. It only takes a few hours or an entire day at a maximum. So, that's just a little bit about them. But it says, funeral traditions from Ireland, stopping clocks, opening windows, and covering mirrors. And I've heard of that from the past, from others, from the area I'm from in the Midwest. They're all part of the Irish wake tradition, and similar rituals are said to be found in other cultures around the world. All clocks are stopped at the time of death. And it was making me think, so there's some really old mansions in Hannibal that have been, some have been greatly restored and you can visit them, and some not as much. And there was one on the outskirts of Hannibal that I remember as a kid getting to go visit. I don't know if I think my mom's friend was a cleaner there. And anyway, they had a room, and that room was, and they had a window, and the window was special because it was to bring the casket in through the window. Mm-hmm. And then they had a special room, and that was the room to have the wake in. Which I thought was really interesting to think that houses were built, you know, but now, again, it was a mansion, so I would say 15, 20 rooms in the huge building, mansion. But it was just interesting to me. I still remember that there was an actual room that was just for the wake, to have the body in for preparing. Because in those days, families would prepare the body and wash the body and do everything. They didn't, you know, have or use funeral homes because it was very expensive stuff. And you found some interesting things too.
I did. Well, you know, I ended up looking up some stuff, so I just have some things that it caused me to think when Pastor Mary said that she was going to be talking about Irish wakes and what wakes were all about. It caused me to think, well, as many of you know, as Pastor Mary talks about her Aunt Carolyn and going back to that at Epiphany, and we'll talk about this at the very end in announcements to remind you, is Epiphany folk know that this Sunday we're having basically our worship service is an extended celebration of life service for those deaths that we've had over the last couple of years, that because of COVID restrictions that we really haven't fortunate us to be able to celebrate their lives. So it's a time for Lloyd Kuykendall and Bob Chapman that have limited family services, and for Gene Carlisle, and for Dennis Tracy, and for let's see, I got two more, and I always have somebody I'm forgetting on all this, but these are just names that we wanted to be able to lift up, to be able to have that. It caused me to think of, I wonder if we have some different sort of funeral traditions that are out there in the world. And some we know about already. One of the first ones, when I entered in strange funeral rites on Google, and the site that came up to was kind of interesting, that it talks about green funerals. Now, you can imagine what a green funeral is. It means that it's a casket. If there is a casket, it's a decomposing casket, so that it will go into the ground. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going, because you're gonna jump onto it, and I already know about it. But if you go to the Monastery of the Holy Spirit in Conyers, this is what they have. Is they have these green funerals, natural burial that happens for the monks that are there, but not just for the monks that are there. You can actually request to be a part of that. In fact, here it was, I'm trying to think if it was during COVID or, but Visma Lasvins, her husband, Peter, had died. He was Roman Catholic, and so they had both gotten plots there for a green funeral, and so they were a part of that. So
you could be cremated or buried there.
Yes.
But the burial is natural.
Yes, it's
so there's
natural.
there's no embalming.
And green funeral is becoming a lot more popular. There's a lot of traditions that have been doing this for a very long time. I'm reminded about the fact that, one reason why, if many of you will remember, that there was a mosque in Doraville that bought some property in Newton County. It was to develop a cemetery, or a Muslim cemetery. And one of the reasons why Muslims like to either have their own separate section in a cemetery or their own cemetery is because when they bury their bodies, the bodies need to be placed facing east in order to face Mecca. And so there are certain funeral rites that they do.
I don't know if they're the same, but often with Jewish funerals, they are buried within 24 hours.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar.
I think that's
similar
close or true. Also for many Muslim burials too.
So, but it was just interesting. But then there's the interesting ones.
Okay.
So one that says gained popular attention, I guess, thanks to a BuzzFeed article. In Ghana, a lot of people use their coffins as a way to represent their work or their life, and these are known as fantasy coffins, and they're quite the work of art. And I guess BuzzFeed highlighted 29 images of some of the most outrageous fantasy coffins. Some feature shapes of luxury cars, while others are shaped like beer bottles. And so there's all these different coffins that are fantasy coffins in Ghana. And in Mongolia, a Buddhist belief there, because it's believed that the soul moves on after death, leaving the body just an empty vessel. So in Buddhism, the body is to be returned to the earth. And the way the Mongolians do this is they place pieces of the body on top of mountains to return the body to the earth, because the body is just a vessel.
Wow.
On all that. So, many of you know about New Orleans funerals, where you have the whole procession that is
celebration.
There, the
well, the music changes. That 60 Minutes had a really good report on jazz music just in the last few months. If you like jazz music or New Orleans, I'd highly recommend looking it up. It's excellent. And they were talking about the funeral processions and how there's a certain point in the procession, like they play more mournful music at the beginning, and then there's a point, and I thought it was, there's some kind of drumming or something, and that's the signal to celebrate, and that's when they play, like when the saints go marching in and things like that. So.
Well, and just to let you know, what also came out here is New Orleans isn't the only place to do things like that. In Taiwan, having an extravagant large funeral is a sign of wealth and social status. And because of this, many families go all out to create the most awe-inspiring funeral imaginable for their loved ones. Some families go so far as to hire electric flower cars. These are trucks with bright neon lights that have mobile stages for, you ready for this?
What?
For strippers.
Whoa!
The dancers dance all the way to the graveside of the deceased. The line in here is, they definitely know how to put the fun in funerals.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I was just reading, I was remembering this too, that part of an old tradition, so it's mainly a Catholic tradition for Irish wakes, but part of it too was that they believed that family members would stay up during the night with the deceased body because they were concerned that evil spirits would come to take them, and so they would stay up all night with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't drink anything hard, but I will lift some kind of, oh, is that our cat?
Yes.
They're there?
Yep.
But I will lift something up in honor of my aunt, Aunt Carolyn. So I look forward to being with family and celebrating her and remembering her. And I'm hoping, so Aunt Carol and Uncle Jim had, as I said, had 3 children, but Ken, their son, died at 42. He had cystic fibrosis all of his life. He actually lived a very long life, but he had gone to the hospital for treatment, which he did when he needed it, and he'd asked the aide to go get him some water, and when she came back, he had collapsed, and he did not survive that. I was fortunate, I won't say fortunate, but I was able to be there for the final blessing of him, which was really powerful. And anyway, a joke was made about Aunt Carolyn on last Saturday, was really ready. I mean, she's been ready to go for a while. But she, her grandson, Matt, was coming in from the Navy to see her. And they said, oh, he was about an hour away. She goes, well, I don't know if I'm going to stick around that long. I'm just ready to go.
Oh.
So, but my cousin Larry, Ken's brother, said, well, if Ken's coming to meet you in heaven, he'll be 45 minutes late because he's always late. So we think you'll make it so you can see Matt, which I'm really grateful. She got to see her grandkids and cousins and family, and the rest of us who couldn't be there could call her and talk to her, and I'm just so grateful. Those are such blessings to be able to have those conversations. But yeah, so anyway, so cousin Ken has gone on, but Larry and Karen are their 2 living children, my cousins, and they're both very precious. And the book group knows Karen because Karen's been in the book group with us for this last year, and so we just ask for prayers for my family in this time, and also we lift up prayers for Tish from our church, whose uncle died, and she and Charlie headed back up to Illinois as well for his service, I think, sometime this weekend. So we just ask for safe prayers and blessings for her family as well during this time. So.
Well, before Mary goes on with Irish blessings, I will share these will be my
I have Irish jokes.
Irish joke. Oh, you have both. Oh my.
Yes.
I don't know if I have that.
Well, I have some jokes left.
Well,
so.
say some jokes, and then I will save my story.
Well,
for
what's a
after the
leprechaun?
joke.
Well, you know this one. What's a leprechaun's favorite cereal?
Lucky Charms.
Um,
Magically delicious.
Yes. What would you get if you crossed Christmas with St. Patrick's Day?
Okay.
St. Claus. What did the leprechaun say when the video game ended? Game Clover. What's the best position for a leprechaun to play on a baseball team? Shortstop. What do you call a leprechaun with a sore throat? A streplechaun. No, you don't mean it the other way. What did the one Irish ghost say to the other? Top of the morning to ya. What do you call a fake Irish diamond? A sham rock. What instrument does a show-off play on St. Patrick's Day? Bagpipes. And speaking of which, I just read something this week I didn't know, that Irish bagpipes are different than Scottish bagpipes. And my friend Tom Kenny, who I was talking about, plays bagpipes. And a friend had put up about they missed hearing him play bagpipes because he has retired from the church he was serving at. But he shared that he played, I think, at a retirement community on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm so glad he kept doing that. When is an Irish potato not an Irish potato? When it's a French fry. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Aaron.
Aaron who?
Aaron, as fast as I could, but I couldn't catch the leprechaun. How does a leprechaun work out? By pushing his leg.
Oh, man.
What's long and green and only shows up once a year? The St. Patrick's Day parade, of course. What does a leprechaun call a man wearing green? Green giant. Green. Why do leprechauns have pots of gold? Because they like to go first class. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Clover.
Clover who?
Clover here and I'll tell you. How can you tell if an Irish man is having a good time? He's doubling over with laughter. How old are leprechauns?
How old?
So old they can remember when rainbows were only black and white. That's a cute one. Why did the leprechaun stand on the potato?
Okay.
To keep from falling into the stew.
Mm.
Why do leprechauns dislike leftovers? Because they prefer leftovers. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ireland.
Ireland who?
Ireland you money if you promise to pay me back.
By the way, the other two are Jerry Simons and Virginia Sting. That will be
See, you know, we all have our brain moments.
Yep.
We all have our brain moments. All right, so.
So before your Irish blessings,
Yes,
let me
yes,
tell you, so
yes.
since they will be blessings, I will, my last thing I'll share with you is that in the midst of Mary was sharing about her aunt's death and with us preparing for this memorial service, I ended up finding out this last week that a good friend of mine from college actually died in October. I found out through my college alumni magazine. I got the opportunity that they had live streamed the service and it can still be found on YouTube. And when I watched it, I shared with you this one story, which I thought was a unique story to be shared at a memorial service. But at the same time, I think Susan would have loved it. Susan's daughter, Sarah, who is now in college, she was 20 or 21, shared the story about her mother's sense of humor, and the best joke that her mother ever told was Sarah had been cleaning up her parents' bedroom, and so she was cleaning her parents' bedroom, and while she was there, she noticed this little container that was on the right near where the bed was, and Sarah at the time was 14, and she'd been known to get into mom's things, especially mom's jewelry, and to borrow things. So she decided to look inside this little vase to see what was there. And when she opened up the vase, she ended up finding out that what it was, and what she ended up spilling all over her mom and dad's bed and their clothes, was the ashes of her grandmother.
Oh my God.
So she panicked, not knowing what to do at all. At 14, you can imagine a 14-year-old doing it.
Oh, I'd be freaked out.
So what did she do? She said she vacuumed it up, and then put things away. And she did not tell her mother for a year what went on. And she was nervous when she went up to her mother to be able to share the story about the fact that she spilled grandma's ashes in her mom and dad's bedroom. And when she finally knew that she needed to be honest and shared it with her mother just looked at her and said, well, you know your grandpa's ashes are downstairs if you want to have another cleaning job to do.
And the moral of the story of that is don't leave people's ashes or your cat's and dog's ashes around. I tell people this regularly. If you have ash ashes of cats, dogs, family members that you have not done anything with, please mark them. Please tell several people who is what, because things happen. And you don't want your
14-year-old daughter.
They don't want your cat being mixed in with your parents' ashes, you know.
So, anyway.
There was the story of the guy whose car got stolen a few years ago, and he wasn't as upset about his car being stolen as the fact that his dad's ashes rode around in his car with him. And so his dad was in the car, and he wanted his car back to get his dad's ashes. So please deal with your ashes responsibly. Is all I gotta say.
Yes.
So I shared Irish blessings when we were with Andy and June yesterday, and I said I know this is part of one, and but I couldn't pull up the actual blessing, but I was right on it, and so here it says, this is one. May your glass be ever full, may the roof over your head be always strong, and may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. I was sharing that one yesterday because I always knew those words. May you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. May those who love us, and those who don't love us, may God turn their hearts. And if he doesn't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles, so we'll know them by their limping. I love that one. May your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow, and may trouble avoid you wherever you go. As you slide down the banister of life, may the splinters never point the wrong way. May you always have walls for the winds, a roof for the rain, tea beside the fire, laughter to cheer you, those who love near you, and all your heart might desire. May you get all your wishes but one, so you always have something to strive for. And may the friendships you make be those which endure, and all of your great clouds be small ones for sure. And trusting in him, to whom we all pray, may a song fill your heart every step of the way. This one I shared I thought was good. Here's to the help of your enemies' enemies. I had not heard that one before. Let's see.
Well, I have one for you too that's completely appropriate for this time.
All right, go right
And
ahead.
that's part of what's known as the Breastplate of St. Patrick.
Oh, yes, well, I
which
should say that for the end.
Okay, I'll save that for the end.
And I'll save one that's very famous for the end too. May the leprechauns dance over your bed and bring you sweet dreams. May the roof above us never fall in, and may the friends gathered below it never fall out. May you have love that never ends, lots of money and lots of friends. Healthy yours, whatever you do, and may God send many blessings to you. May peace and plenty bless your world with a joy that long endures, and may all life's passing seasons bring the best to you and yours. Always remember to forget the things that made you sad, but never forget to remember the things that made you glad. May you escape the gallows, avoid distress, and be as healthy as a trout. And if God sends you down the stony path, may he give you strong shoes. The best way to keep loyalty in a man's heart is to keep money in his purse. Experience is the comb that life gives a bold man. Experience is the comb that life gives a bold man. And may your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come to you. And with that, I will stop.
Time to bring down Christopher. So I think Christopher's song is relatively short.
It's about a minute long.
About a minute long. So he wanted to share something from the kids' show Go Diego Go. But it's not the theme song of Go Diego Go.
I was hoping it was. I like
So,
that one. I
well,
like
I
but
mean,
you'll recognize this
It's
one.
short and sweet.
Yeah. So, and then we'll bring on Sam.
Who will do an Irish
A
tune.
famous Irish tune.
I requested it last week. So.
And I think there's a Spanish translation here that I don't know what it is.
For
But
what?
For
Oh,
Go Diego Go
for-
song.
I was gonna say, is there a Spanish translation for the Irish tune?
Well, I don't know.
I wasn't sure the way you said that.
No,
so.
no, for Christmas.
All right.
So,
All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna give David something green that's not Christmassy.
oh, that's right.
Well, they look great, but
I know, but I
they
get to
have
wear Yoda, and people know me by Yoda. People will know me by my Yoda. So, that's he'll go, and I think he'll tell you that the name of this song is called Brinka.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what it's like.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, you're not boring me, it's just, the weather today, if you're here, well, Midwest got it too. Lots and lots of thunder and lightning and rain, and we were out in some of it, but got home to avoid the worst of it, because it was pretty bad. Sam and I got caught in the worst of it on Wednesday night, it was terrible.
Hi, Christopher.
Hey.
Hey!
Can you say hello to everybody? Can you say hello to everybody? Say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Christopher, do you have a song for us tonight? What is the song you're going to sing for us tonight? Hey, what song are you going to sing for us tonight?
Go Brinka.
Brinka. Yeah, sit up. Sit up.
All right, you ready, bud?
Right.
Okay.
Brinka, 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 Brinka once again, mommy, I know you do
Good job!
Hey, take a bow, take a bow.
Very good
Thank
job.
you, Christopher.
Very happy song.
We need a woo.
Woo!
All right.
Come on now, man. Come on up.
So,
Sam, just sing.
Sam,
Come on.
Hello.
what song do you got for us tonight?
you know
do you got Brinka too?
No. Well, I mean, yesterday was, St. Patty's Day, and of course, we've had more of an Irish theme tonight, so I decided to go with the most classical Irish song that everyone knows, the Family War.
Okay.
It's a very sad song.
It is very sad. The pipes are calling from when to when and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. Boy, come ye back.
But, you know, I was sitting here thinking you should have probably played on your viola.
Oh, that would have been nice. I don't know if I could sing along with the viola, but I should have done that. That would
The
have been
music,
nice.
maybe just play the music.
It would have been nice. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you play the viola. Yeah. So, there will be service Sunday. I will not be there, but, Gail Harville will be the lead and, Larry Schultz will speak. It will be at 10 a.m. It will be a service of the word. There will not, we will not start, centering prayer this Tuesday because I'll be flying back. So that has been postponed a week and we'll start on, March 29th. So anyone who's interested in that, it will be at 10:30 on Tuesday, March 29th, and we will go from 10:30 to noon. And the book we have chosen is Faith After Doubt by Brian McLaren, that we will be reading together. There's still Wednesday night, wonderful Wednesday night services and meals. We're having homemade lasagna next Wednesday at 5:45, and then we will have a worship service at 6:30. And Rita Johnson from our congregation will speak about some of the work that's happening in our community, and a program or programs that she's excited about and ways that we can get involved more in Spalding County and in Griffin. So we're looking forward to that as well. And as I said, I will be leaving early tomorrow morning and won't be back till later Tuesday afternoon. We'll return to the office on Wednesday. So if you're in need of something, please check with Don Taylor, who's president. Lynn will be in the office on Tuesday. So if it's really dire, you can call or text me, and I'll get back to you when I can. But just wanted to make sure you knew if there's something pressing, you could check with me. It's the pastoral care issue. Otherwise, you could check with Don Taylor, our church pastoral person. That's all the main things that I can think of. Theology on Tap continues. It will be on Tuesday at Margot's. Meet there between 12 and 12:30 in Griffin. And they're reading a book on Julian of Norwich. So those are the things I could think of right now.
And Epiphany folks, just a reminder again that we will be having worship at 8:30 and 11 on Sunday. And this worship service is going, like I said, a celebration of life service for Lori Kuykendall and Bob Chapman, who all have limited family services, and then Virginia Steninger, Jean Carlisle, Jerry Simons, and Dennis Tracy, who have not had services. So this is a way that we can be able for us to be able to gather together and celebrate these lives together during this time. There will be a reception cake in between services, so we want to make sure to invite you there for that. Reminder too that we will have our Wednesday evening Lenten service at 7 o'clock on Wednesday with Golden Evening Prayer. There will be a soup supper that the church council will be providing before that at 6 o'clock, so we invite you there for that. And then as we continue this theme of finding our story within God's story, we will be hearing from Connie Brickle this Wednesday. She shares part of her story and actually her journey of faith during the time of cancer. So we invite you to go to that.
That's it for announcements. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will not be here next Friday night. I have been asked to help out with the retreat for women from Christ the King, where I used to serve as their interim associate. So I will be gone that Friday night and Saturday, but we'll be at church next Sunday. So I will miss being at Sunday Night Fun, but we'll be back in the evening.
I think Pastor Mary instead of our usual closing today, Pastor Mary will share another blessing.
You can do yours,
I'll do mine first.
Well, no, why don't I do mine,
Okay,
because I think yours is,
Okay.
so this one is probably one of the most famous ones. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
And from St. Patrick, the breastplate of St. Patrick, the closing part of it goes like this. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me. Christ beneath me, Christ above me. Christ on my right, Christ on my left. Christ when I lie down, Christ when I sit down. Christ when I arise. Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me. Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me. Christ in every eye that sees me. Christ in every ear that hears me. I arise today through a mighty strength, the invocation of the Trinity, through belief in the threeness, through confession of the oneness of the Creator of creation. Amen.
And thanks for joining us tonight for this special edition of Friday Night Fun, and we look forward to seeing you. Oh, I also will not have devotions right now because of traveling. I will not have devotions next Tuesday night, and I'll put a note up about that. But we will have Wednesday night worship online, and we will have Thursday, and we will have Sunday worship online for those who aren't able to attend.
All right. Good
Right.
night,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.